I tasked you with one thing. All you had to do was hide the real spoilers in a sea of lies. Now I've been reading, and I honestly can't tell. He has a super deny Omega roll. Is this real? Why would my mod ban this if it wasn't real? Get trolled? Is that the double troll? I have no idea what's real and what's not anymore. This is perfect. Guys, we are not using our powers for evil, okay? I've decided, this is my arc, okay? I've seen the harm that I can do by traveling too far into the future. I only now travel 9 minutes at a time if there's a champion reveal that I actually care about.
Sean the Time Traveler.
Nobody uses my real... Goofer, why are you using my real name, dude? Come on, don't out me like that. Why did they give Shurima a deny, though? Guys, we're being good. We're being good. Okay? No spoils, guys. Come on. Time travel to see the video. My powers aren't that great, Nick. Can we talk about this? This was really funny. Do you guys remember like 2 weeks ago at the start? What was it? Was it the Lissandra reveal? It was like a week and a half ago. Someone in chat said, try changing your computer clock an hour ahead. I tried it. That was so crazy. This should not have worked, guys. It should not have worked this entire time. Azir awakens his empire. Azir, when allies attack, summon an attacking sand soldier. Sand soldier, yeah, we already see, is the ephemeral. So Azir is there was a 3 mana 1/5. So you summon a sand soldier every turn. And he's got Desert's Wrath. Okay. Emperor's Divide. Give enemies vulnerable this round and summon 6 sand soldiers. And then Azir, when allies attack, summon an attacking sand soldier at level 2. When you summon an ally, give us both +1/+0 this round. So he just starts granting buffs when he levels. He levels pretty easily. You just have to summon 10 units. That's quite a bit easier than most of these other level ups. This is actually like the easiest champ level, I think. No sound? Hang on. Wait a second. That's an issue. Azir, when I level up, replace your deck with the Emperor's deck, then draw 1. What the hell is the Emperor's deck? Ascend to greatness to get a powerful new deck. Wait, what? Wait, it just gives you a special pool of cards? I'm basically 1/8 gay. These are like celestial cards, basically. They're like treasures. Yeah, they're just like powerful token cards, right? Okay, that's crazy. Unfortunately, there couldn't be sound here, guys. There's a copyright issue that I simply have no control over. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. We've seen the trailer. Let's take a peek at all the things these cards do. So you have to summon 10 units. Azir will start buffing your units here, which is pretty good. Let's go ahead and read the rest. But I do want to point out, if we watch the trailer, this Inspiring Marshal card was doing a lot there. Like, the ability to just, like, buff these token units and, like, Desert's Wrath and stuff like that makes this a lot more powerful. Okay, so, yeah, he gets a lot stronger with his level 3 form. His champ spell is Arise, 3 mana, burst, summon a Sand Soldier, create a fleeting Arise in hand. Emperor's Divide is the 7 mana, give enemies vulnerable this round and summon 6 Sand Soldiers. It's a little expensive at 7. Rite of Negation is the the card we were talking about before. Kill an ally or destroy one of your mana gems to stop all enemy fast spells, slow spells, and skills. So this targets everything on the stack. This targets everything on the stack. So, a couple of things to break this down. Rite of Negation is a very powerful card. This card is very similar to Deny. You have to sacrifice an ally or destroy one of your mana gems to negate an ability. This card is really good. The way Rite of Negation is going to work. Okay, so when we compare this to Rite of Calling, they're actually kind of like opposite cards to break down. Where was Rite of Calling? Was it down here? Rite of Calling, the 0 mana 1. Rite of Calling, you're almost always going to kill an ally for Rite of Calling's effect.
I'm basically one.
Rite of Negation, the thing to understand about Rite of Negation is because of how it's worded, if you kill an ally, this is a fizzleable effect, right? And therefore, you're going to want to use the destroy one of your mana gems in a lot of cases with this one, which you'll never do with the other one, really. Because this will happen a lot in the mid to late game where you might not have the ability to kill an ally safely. So you can fizzle it if you try to kill an ally, but if you use the second effect, if you destroy one of your mana gems, this is unfizzleable. This is unfizzleable. And it stops all enemy spells currently on the stack. Now, this is rare that it'll actually matter because usually spells are played one at a time. So I don't know whether you can say this is better than Deny. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's a Shurima Deny. And that's all you need to know. It's not about whether this is better than Deny or worse than Deny or a side grade of Deny. This is a Shurima Deny. That's it. We no longer have to be an Ionia. You guys remember all of these memes of like, guys, there was only ever one reason to be an Ionia? All right? Count them. There's no longer do we... They just rotated Ionia out is what happened. Like, this, we all asked if they were going to do like region rotations. This is it. Ionia has been rotated out. Rite of Negation is our new Ionia. And this card is very powerful, yes. Crumbling Sands. So this is, yeah, the rest of these cards are the Emperor cards from the Emperor's deck. Crumbling Sands, 4 mana, obliterate an enemy follower, draw 1. Alright, seems good. Emperor's Guard, 2 mana, 5/4 fearsome. When I'm summoned, draw 1. Alright, seems good. Eternal Gladiator, 7 mana, 10/7 barrier. When I'm summoned, draw 1. Round end, the strongest enemy and I strike each other. And presumably that'll work off of his barrier. Alright, seems good. General's Palace, enemies are vulnerable. Round start rally. Golden Herald, 5 mana 6/6. Play in round start. Summon 2 Sand Soldiers and grant them +2/+2. Ascendant's Call, 10 mana, rally, summon Renekton and Nasr, immediately level them up to level 3. What the fuck? What? Okay, this one's just funny. Jesus Christ. Sandstorm, obliterate 3 enemy units or landmarks. Alright, seems good. Shimmering Mirage, summon an exact copy of an ally. It's ephemeral. Oh! Wow. Oh, they've got Renekton, Nasr, and LeBlanc. Emperor's Prosperity. 2 mana, draw 2. Alright. And yeah, these are the cards in the Emperor's deck. So when you get Azir to level 3, these 10 cards, or what is that, 9? These aren't like real main deckable cards, but these are the 9 cards that we're drawing into in the Emperor's deck, apparently. That's pretty funny. So, and there's a cool like golden deck animation too when that happens. So yeah, Azir actually has like pretty powerful level 3 payoff, and Azir is actually pretty easy to level up himself. Azir is actually pretty easy to level up as a card. All you have to do is summon 10 units. This is quite a bit like it's not an I've seen ability too. It's not an I've seen ability too. So all you have to do with Azir, and that's the most important thing for the mono Shurima Sun Disc deck, right? Because that's how we get to Ascended. You have to level up another Ascended ally apart from Azir. So you run Azir, you run Renekton. You're a mono Shurima deck. Your Azir, you'll play Buried Sun Disc on round 1. Your Azir will level up because Azir kind of always levels up on his own. You'll need Renekton. You'll need to play Renekton on turn 4 and level Renekton, which isn't that hard, but yeah, it's a little bit disruptible. And then that'll be 20 out of the 25 countdown. I think there's a third Ascended card, but I can't quite remember what it is. Probably don't put it in the deck. And you only need to wait out the 5 turns. So this will happen on its own. You only need Azir and Renekton to level up. You don't need the third one because the countdown 25 will already happen, right? That's actually not that hard. That's actually not that hard for Azir and Renekton to level up, and for both of their level 3s to basically say pretty much win the game. That's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful. So, honestly, Mono Shurima is not going to be that bad. I'm still not guessing it's going to be like a tier 1 deck, but it actually will not be as awkward as a lot of people were suspecting. It might be a little bit disappointing. Azir ties it all together. The fact that he's easy to level up is the important thing. It's the most important thing here. So, yeah, Mono Shurima is looking kind of cool. We can use Azir with some of the Swarm package here. You can build like an all-in Azir deck off of stuff like Inspiring Marshal. You can use, of course, this card, Desert's Wrath. Grant all allied sand soldiers ever a +1/+0. You know what you can use, guys? You know what you can use? You can use Jagged Taskmaster. Jagged Taskmaster, baby. Splash Bilgewater. Of course, this is not the Mono Shurima deck. This is a different deck. But if you want to go all in for the Azir Swarm like Sand Soldier thing, Jagged Taskmaster, that's funny. You can go in for Ephemerals with some of Shadow Isle's Hecarim stuff. To be honest, I actually think I'd rather have like Jagged Taskmaster because I don't think Ephemerals really want Sand Soldiers, and I don't think Sand Soldiers really want Ephemerals. They're kind of two different ways of swarming the boards with Ephemerals. Ephemerals don't really want more Ephemerals. They want more Ephemeral buffs. Going for Shadow Isles gives you access to like Soul Shepherd, which is like kind of a side grade to Jagged Taskmaster. It takes a board slot with Soul Shepherds, which is pretty awkward. But you can do that as well. Soul Shepherd and Taskmaster are pretty similar. The most important thing, though, is just like this card, Inspiring Marshal, if you really want to go in for these Sand Soldiers. That's going to be really good. Iceborne Legacy. Yeah, and if you're trolling, you can use Iceborne Legacy. I mean, hey, that'd be funny too, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Alright, so there's a lot of ways to play Azir. And of course, I will say, even though I did say Ionia just got it rotated out, this card, Field Musicians, is really powerful. And if you can fit it into an Azir deck, that can do a lot too. The refill your spell mana and draw 1 is really huge. Okay, so yeah, that's Azir. There's a lot to continue breaking down about these cards. Let's talk about the 2 other main deckable cards, since a lot of these are just the Emperor's deck payoff. Emperor's Divide and Arise. Emperor's Divide, probably, I think this card is going to be a little bit weaker. I'm actually suspecting that in a Sand Soldier's deck, it's not even that it's overcosted, but I think in a Sand Soldier's deck, there's so many ways to summon Sand Soldiers, and you're going to be tight on board space because of stuff like Azir and stuff like any landmarks you might be running, that I don't think this will even summon very many. So I think there's better ways to get Sand Soldiers, because there's a lot of ways to get Sand Soldiers. That brings me to Arise. Arise is I think a little nuts, actually. I think Arise is kind of insane. At the very least, it's really, really good in a Azir deck. Because, of course, you'll want the ability to summon a couple of Sand Soldiers on the attack. So here's the thing about Arise. That is really, really, really important to understand, guys. Because Arise does not look like very much. And don't get me wrong, I don't think you're running this outside of either a full Azir Swarm or Mono Shurima. But this card is a lot better than it looks. This card, so obviously it's got the echo effect. So if you have 6 mana, you can play it twice. If you have 9 mana, you can play it 3 times. And it has synergy with any Sand Soldier stuff. It's probably a better version of like Emperor's Divide, I would say. And maybe you'll just have enough of double drawing Azir, so maybe you won't even main deck it. But this card is nice. The fact that this card is burst speed unit presence is really powerful, guys. Like, you guys have to see this card. Burst speed units are something that this game hasn't really seen before. We have Jury Rig. Jury Rig is a burst speed unit, but you don't really run this in, like, you don't really use it for the ability for a burst speed unit. You don't run it in the kind of a deck that wants a burst speed unit, and you can only play it once. We have Mist Call, of course, which has been fringe, and then apart from that, that's been it. Like, burst speed units have been really fringe outside of that. Jarvan, the reason Jarvan is so good, and Jarvan might not be like nuts. Like, some people are saying, oh, you know, you and the podcast might be overrating it. Might be a little. Like, Jarvan's at least pretty good because he's a burst speed attacker. That brings me to Arise. Guys, Arise is multiple burst speed units. If you have like 6 or 9 mana, which you will on a lot of open attacks, you will completely fill your board on your open attack. There is a lot of power in that, even if it costs mana, right? That's really, really powerful to be able to lock your opponent out of a play. Think about it on defense. Think about a burst speed blocker. So, in a lot of situations where a blocker is all you need, you have the ability to summon like burst speed blockers, like multiple burst speed blockers, right? Like, compare this to something like Harsh Winds. This is obviously not as good as Harsh Winds because there's a lot you can do with a freeze that blockers can't do, but this is a very flexible card. On defense, you can pay 6 mana and get blockers and punish your opponent's open attack. And against a deck like Demacia or like Noxus, you can save yourself by doing that. That's pretty powerful. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. The card is not like the craziest card ever. It's a good card to have off of the second Azir. It's a lot better than it looks, is mostly what I'm trying to say. It's a really good card to have off of the double draw Azir. It is a pretty sweet ability. The fact of being able to summon, to be able to use your full amount of spell mana. Okay, so look at it like this. The whole point of open attacking is to take a look at your opponent's mana and say, okay, I'm going to try to lock out as much of this as possible. As much of this as possible for value. And when you're trying to open attack yourself, you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm locking out both manas, so I'm hoping I have enough mana that I can use all my mana for value. And that's kind of the thing about Arise that's pretty powerful. And that's something that I think isn't immediately apparent. Because on both ends, on both attacking and defense, this has the ability to just allow yourself to not get locked out of your mana. You can use all your mana for blockers. You can use all your mana for attackers. It just allows your mana to be more flexible, and you're not going to get locked out whether you're on attack or defense. And there's a lot of power in that. So, yeah, maybe it's more of a thing when you double draw Azir, but double drawing Azir is going to feel, I think, pretty good in a lot of cases. Pretty good in a lot of cases because of that. Passage Unearned is really a 3-of, and this brings me to my boy, Passage Unearned. Passage Unearned. There have been doubters. I've been building decks with Passage Unearned for days, and there have been doubters. People saying, so why are you running Passage Unearned? Dude, there's so many things Passage Unearned hits right now. There's so much. It's crazy, dude. Like, Passage Unearned, hang on. Wait a second. Like, Spicy Tech versus Jarvan 4. Jarvan 4, imagine your opponent. Imagine you queue up. And like on like day 1 on ladder, you queue up in like, you know, plat or whatever the reset rank. You queue into like BBG, and he's like, "Oh boy, can't wait to play my favorite Demacian Emperor," or, you know, whatever Jarvan is. Who knows? He open attacks and it's passage and it's gone. Okay? Talia, like your opponent plays Aphelios because you're queuing up on day 1 and you queue into this no life who's playing Aphelios Shurima, even though it's a new patch, and they're playing Aphelios Shurima and they like use Hourglass to protect their Aphelios. Okay, Hourglass to protect their Aphelios, and you're like, oh darn. And then when they get their Aphelios back, oh wait, I can't search Hourglass. When they get their Aphelios back at the start of next round, perfectly fine and completely intact, you just passage unearned it. It's gone. It's dead. It can work on the frozen thralls if they're like manually summoned without the Draklorn. It can work with a lot of other of the Talia stuff if they're using like the Desert Naturalist sacrifice on one of their units with your own Entomb or Spirit's Journey. You can like, or if they use Entomb, there's actually so many things passage unearned hits. It's actually really, really funny. Like this is its time, baby. This is its time. Back to the day of the first seasonal, people were main decking this card because it hit a lot of matchups. And here we are again. Passage unearned. So, man, this is super crazy. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna start building decks today. We've got all the missing pieces of the puzzle. Are we getting patch notes? Are we getting patch notes today too? Is that gonna come in 40 minutes as well? Because this is it, guys. We have all of the information. Patch notes in 40 minutes. We're going to build all of the decks out. I'm going to build an Azir deck. I'm going to build some like Mono Shurima stuff. Some of like the Super Swarm and Rite of Negation. God, Rite of Negation. I can build Fiora Shurima now. Fiora Shurima! We're back, dude! It's Deny! Wait! Fiora has a deck with both the Tutor in Rite of Calling. Rite of Calling gets me Fiora into my hand, no matter what. Rite of Negation is the Deny. We've never had a Fiora deck with access to both. Use a couple lucky finds. Give my Fiora Spell Shield. Give my Fiora Quick Attack. Sounds pretty good. Let's build that too. Alright, guys. Oh, man. So, yeah, today's going to be deck building day. This is going to be a lot of fun. 40 minutes until patch notes. I can't wait to look at those too. I really hope we're going to see something hopefully hit with Aphelios to stop that. We will see. And, yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of the theory craft decks and showing off what I've built so far. If you want to see the full list of decks that because I built some yesterday too, I'm going to make a YouTube video. Probably it's going to be released like maybe a couple hours before the expansion drops tomorrow. And that will be, you know, all the like theory craft, like there'll be like 15 decks or something like that for the new expansion for Empires of the Ascended. And I'll be kind of like updating my website and refining everything as I go, like every day, updating everything. God, I love reveal season. And that's it, guys. That's it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for that.